Yo, what up, nyakos? It's your buddy Philko here reporting live from Dnipropetrovsk, Ukraine. And right now, I'm not really going to be speaking this much in this video. I'm going to show you a video made by this really smart guy. His channel is Man of Christ 101. Just Man of Christ 101, no spaces. And he made this video called What Looks Black and What Looks Mixed. It was such a beautiful video that I have to show you guys. It's really good. I'll leave the link in the description. You can go subscribe to his channel. But I basically agree with everything he says in this video. I realized something when I listen to other YouTubers. I think they say things more at a kind level. Like when I say the same things, the problem with how I say it is I say it in a more aggressive way. Like, are you fucking stupid? You know, but maybe I need to be more relaxed and calm and sound more polite like this guy. So listen to the video. Let me know what you think. It's a really good video and I'm out, people. Enjoy it. Subscribe to him. Later.
We are going to talk about what looks black and what looks mixed. So right now, I want you to picture a biracial person in your head. Go ahead, take a few seconds. Do they look something like this? Okay, now picture a black person in your head. What do you see? Do you see something that looks like this, or any of these people? Because if so, get ready to be surprised when you find out that none of the people on this page are black. All of them are biracial. But the fact that many people who look like this still call themselves black or light-skinned black has caused a lot of confusion. And that confusion is perpetuated by people who don't want biracials to accept all of their sides. Some people want biracials only to see themselves as black. And when they try to convince biracials to call themselves black, they use some of the silliest arguments I have ever heard. And these are the top 3 silliest arguments I have heard for why biracials ought to call themselves black. Number 1, you just think you're better than black people. People who make this argument accuse biracials of trying to gain status by distancing themselves from their black side. They will often say things such as, "You're just ashamed to be black," or "You just think you're better than me because your skin is lighter." But honestly, this argument sucks, and here's why. No race is better than the other. They are all equal. And since they are all equal, it shouldn't matter which one you identify with, right? If black is just as good as white, and mixed race is just as good as both of these, then what's the pressure to pick black over the others if they are all equal? I think some black people who make this argument secretly feel inferior to other races. So they get insulted when a biracial chooses not to be called black, because in their mind it just proves that nobody wants anything to do with black people. But what they don't realize is that being biracial means accepting both of your sides, not just the black side. On the other hand, some black people who make this argument feel like the black race is superior to other races, and that biracial should only accept their black side because it's the better side. But this is a racist argument, and you should ignore anybody who comes up with it. The next silly argument I have heard is, number 2, white people will never accept you. People who make this argument usually say, black people will accept you more than white people will, so you might as well call yourself black because whites won't accept you. And here's my response. Why do I need white people to accept me? If I'm not trying to identify as white, but rather I'm trying to identify as multiracial, why does it matter what whites think of that? And why do I need the approval of others to determine how I see myself? Isn't that a bad thing? Isn't that a sign of low self-esteem? People who make this argument tend to only see 2 races, black and white, and they think that if you don't call yourself black, then you must be calling yourself white. But in reality, there are many other races, including mixed race people. So a choice not to be called black is not the same thing as a choice to be called white. There are tons of alternatives. And moreover, what about biracial people who get along better with white people than they do with black people? Is that an excuse for them to pretend that they're not part black? I don't think so. And now on to the worst of these arguments. Number 3, all black people are mixed and you are no different. The people who say this like to point out the fact that there are many people in America who are part white but still call themselves black. and that somehow this is indisputable evidence for why you should call yourself black just because a lot of other people do it. But this argument is guilty of the ad populum fallacy. The ad populum fallacy is when you try to say that something is true just because a lot of people think it's true. Ever heard the phrase, just because everyone else jumps off a cliff doesn't mean you should as well? Well, this is the same concept. A lot of biracials calling themselves black is not proof that biracials should call themselves black, and it's not proof that biracials are black. People who say this argument like to think of mixed race people as just a lighter black person. But there's only one type of black person, and that's a black person. If you mix anything with it, your result is not black. Your result is not a different type of black, but your result is an admixture, which is its own thing. In the same way, if I mix this chocolate with this milk, my result is chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is not just a lighter type of chocolate because it has such a high milk content. And chocolate milk is not just a type of milk because milk comes from cows, and cows can only produce white milk. Sorry to burst your bubble, but not even the brown cows can produce chocolate milk. So as you can see, chocolate milk is its own product because it's not the same as any of the individual ingredients used to make it. In the same way, biracials are their own entity because they are not the exact same as any of the individual races that make them up. Let me use pictures to show you what I mean. These are pictures of black people. These people are from Africa. The picture on the right is a man from Uganda. I don't know the nationality of the other picture, but let's think about it for a second. Is it really logical to say that these two totally dissimilar people belong in the same racial category? It makes no sense to me that people will put these two very similar looking people in different categories, yet will put these two different looking people in the same category. I know some of you may say that you think Tiger Woods looks black because he has a wide nose and brown skin and he doesn't look like this person here, but the truth is there is no standard mixed people look. Mixed race comes in different shades, colors, and sizes. The appearance that you see on this screen does not have a monopoly on the biracial look. Just because a person doesn't have any noticeable European features doesn't mean they don't look mixed. Let's revisit the Tiger Woods example. Tiger Woods is part black and part Thai. This is what Tiger Woods looks like when you compare him to a person from Thailand. Notice the identical nose shape, lip shape, and overall complexion. In my opinion, Tiger Woods actually looks more Thai than he does black. I would be more willing to make this comparison than I am to make this one. The point is, just like there are different shades of chocolate milk and different mixtures that you can make, such as strawberry milk, biracials come in different shades and mixtures as well. None of the people on this page look like that biracial girl from a few images back, but all of them are actually biracial. They are all a mixture of black and Chinese, and while it may not seem very obvious to some, it's obvious to me that none of them look like the gentleman in the middle. Or to give a few more examples, do any of the people on the outer edges of this page truly look like they belong in the same category as the African in the middle? Go ahead, just take a second to look at this and tell me, do you think that all of these people belong in the same category? In fact, I would actually say it's disrespectful to people who look like this when you make biracials the face of African beauty. This is Sade. She is half white and half black. If you pretend that she is representative of people who look like this, then you are ignoring the uniqueness of Africans. And you see this kind of thing all the time. Here's an example. Go to the ethnic hair care aisle of any beauty supply store and this is what you'll find. Countless pictures of obviously mixed people trying to pose as African or black. In fact, I'm thoroughly convinced that the woman in the middle picture is Asian. But the point is, pretending that these people represent black beauty is racist to black people and it's racist to biracials. It's racist to black people because it sends the message that black heritage must be diluted first in order for it to be considered acceptable. And that is an insult to Africans. But it's also racist to biracials because it forces them to represent only their black side when they should be able to represent all of their sides. In a nutshell, black people get robbed of the ability to represent themselves, and mixed people get robbed of the ability to choose how they self-identify. It's a lose-lose situation. To fix this, biracial needs to be accepted as its own entity and not just as a subset of black. Other countries have done this. For example, this is a South African family. In South Africa, most of the members of this family are known as colored, not as black. The designation of colored in South Africa means having more than one ancestry and not exactly looking African. Now, if you grew up in America, you would probably just look at this image and see a quote-unquote light-skinned black family. But in reality, those so-called light-skinned black people are actually mixed. They just call themselves black because they are unaware that they are mixed. But like I said, in other countries, mixed people are recognized in their own racial category. Take Brazil, for instance. The image on the left is what is known in Brazil as a mulatto. Many people look like this due to the gradual blending of African and European ancestry, creating a sort of chocolate milk mixture, if you will. But it's in its own category. It's not seen as a subset of black. There are many people in America who look just like this due to the gradual blending of African and European ancestry. The image on the right is the same example, except it's African blended with Native American. And I'm sure many people in America look like this due to the gradual blending of African and Native American ancestry. And speaking of Native Americans, here is an image from the Cherokee Nation website. Everyone in this picture is biracial. What they have in common is that each of them has Cherokee as a part of their racial admixture, yet each of them looks so different from the others. The point is, there is no standard mixed people look. Biracial varies. And one last example is myself. Lots of people have asked me what I am, and I tell them my admixture is Native American, black, and white. Though I don't look white, and though I don't look like this kid, that doesn't mean that someone such as myself doesn't look mixed. Take my hair, for example. Although it's not straight, it's actually not kinky either. A close-up would reveal that it's actually pretty soft and curly. It's almost wavy. If I had to compare it to someone else's hair, I'd say it's more like Frederick Douglass's hair. Frederick Douglass was also biracial. He was a mixture of black and white. I do have a flat and broader nose, which is associated with Africans. But it's also interesting to note a couple of non-Africans who have similar noses. George Lopez, the comedian, and Jackie Chan. But if you look closely at my nose, you will notice freckles, which are commonly associated with European people. Then there's also cheekbone, lip shape, and complexion similarities. But I think you get the point. There are many ways to look mixed, and mixed people should be free to accept all of their sides. So, for the rest of this video, I'm going to clear up any questions you might have about the people I used in the video by actually revealing their ethnic backgrounds. I hope you're not too annoyed with the background music I created. I made it in Logic Pro. Alright, God bless. Enjoy the pictures, enjoy the music.
Nyakas. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. He did a good job in my opinion. He really put it down, and I wish him the best. Hope for the best for him. And I just want you guys to understand that when people say things like this, they're just trying to be as logical and as scientific as possible. They're not trying to hurt your feelings. They're not trying to make you feel bad. Just because someone says someone is something else, or they say they're not something else, doesn't mean they believe the other thing is worse or better. They're just saying what they believe what it is, and that's what this young man did. Now I'm out. Later.